Hello everyone, I am Punyakirti BL. Welcome to my Python for Generative AI learning series. In this series, we are focusing on Python basics that will help us to build a strong foundation for implementing generative AI concepts. So let's dive in and start today's session. Today's topic is Introduction to HTTPX for AI developers. So modern API calls in Python. Let's start with introduction. So our topic is introduction to HTTPX for beginners. So introduction, why HTTPX matters. So modern applications rarely work in isolation. They constantly exchange data with other systems like APIs, cloud services, databases and AI models. To make this communication possible, Python needs a reliable way to send requests and receive responses over the internet. This is where HTTPX comes in. HTTPX is Python library that allows your code to communicate with web services using HTTP. It acts as bridge between your Python program and external services like APIs. In short, what it is doing is here I will show it in intuitive way what it will do. So our Python app contains HTTPX client and we have server or API which process the data. So it is HTTPX is client is ready to send request. When I send HTTP send request, it's sending the request, then processing the response by server, then response is sent back to Python app, that is HTTP client. So now response is usable in Python. This is how, in short, that HTTPX works. Okay, what problem does HTTPX solve? Python alone cannot directly call an API, send data to a server, receive JSON or images, talk to AI services. HTTPX provides the tools needed to do all of this. Using HTTPX, you can request data from APIs, send data securely, attach authentication details, handle failures and delays, work efficiently with modern async systems. So, real world analogy, easy to remember. Think of HTTP as a communication like a phone call. Here, HTTPX is like the phone. So, API or server is the person you are calling. Request is what you ask to that person. Response is the answer you receive from the person. Without the phone, the conversation simply cannot happen. So, common use cases of HTTPX. HTTPX is widely used in real production systems like API communication, which is used to fetching the data from REST APIs, sending data to servers. Then AI and ML applications, calling large language models, sending text for embeddings, communicating with AI platforms, backend and microservices, one service calling another service, triggering background jobs, uploading or downloading files. Then rack pipelines, it is used calling embedding services, querying vector databases, fetching LLM responses. If our application interacts with AI or cloud services, HTTPX is almost always involved. So basic mental model of HTTPX. Here is the simplest model possible, but I will show this flow in basic thing. I have reset this one. Now when I click first, what we got, this is the mental model. First step is Python sends a request, that is HTTPX client sends a request to the server. Next step is server process it, then server sends back a response, then HTTPX converts it into Python data that will can be used in Python application. Once it is done, let's go with setting up HTTPX in our project. So I'm using anti-gravity folder or editor here. So inside that I have HTTPX folder I have created. So as per the program, so I am creating this mkdir HTTPX demo is a folder creation. Then we are moving into HTTPX demo. So I will copy this one. So what I will do, I will create a folder inside this. So the folder is ready. Inside this, what we need to do, let's look. So inside the CD projects, I have CD HTTPX tutorial. Inside that HTTPX demo. So I move to this. Then let's take Python -m environment. So here environment is given, but I will give as H environment or HTTPX environment. So Python environment is created with HTTPX environment. Once that HTTPX environment is created, we need to activate that. How to activate? Source we are commenting, then we have to call HTTPX environment, inside that bin, then activate. That's all. Now our virtual environment is active. Now we need to install Python pip install HTTPX. Inside that, we will get HTTPX all libraries installed. So everything is installed successfully. Let's start our first HTTPX program, that is get request, using client.py. So let's create inside this HTTP demo. What I will do, I will create a client.py folder file. Inside this file, let's take this program, import HTTPX. First we are importing, then we are calling the API. So this I defined a function. Inside this function, what we are doing, so we need to print data. So response we are calling and return the response. This is the function we defined. Inside the function https.get, this API we are calling. What we are doing, what this code is does, imports the HTTPX library. Here we are importing the HTTPX library, then sends a get request to a test API. Test API is, this is the URL we got. Okay, receives a response from the server, converts the response into JSON, prints the result. So we are getting fetch data. If I call, it will send the response, and then response will convert it into JSON. So here why httpn.org? Because it is a testing service that simply shows back the request details. Perfect for learning. That's why we are using this one. So how to run inside this? So what I will clear this one. Then Python, I need to call the client application. So print data is printed. So it is inconsistent of tabs and spaces in indentation. So I don't know why it is doing like this. Let's see what is the error. Okay, data is there, print data is there. I have used. So here it is inside the function we have used that data. So I will comment this. So it is executing. The issue is print data. So I am saving. Let's run this. So now it is calling, we got the response. This successful response I will already copied in my understanding the response path. Here you are able to see we have args, headers and origin and URL. So the return response, that is JSON, includes headers sent by your program, then request URL, then origin IP, metadata about the request. These are information we got. This confirms that your request reached the server understood it, HTTPX successfully handled the response. So let's understand how we implemented, how we ran the get request from HTTPX. Successfully we understood what all we implemented. Let's wrap up. So what we implemented. So why you should learn HTTPX? HTTPX is not just another library. It's a core skill for modern Python developers. It enables API integration, AI model communication, scalable backend systems, efficient rack pipelines. If you work with AI, APIs or cloud platforms, HTTPX is essential knowledge. So quick recap what all we learned. By the end of this lesson, viewers will understand what HTTPX is and why it exists, how Python communicates with APIs, how to send and receive data using HTTPX, why HTTPX is preferred for AI and async systems. So in the next lessons, you can build on this to cover clients, retries, async pipelines and AI API integration. So Python for Generative AI by Punyakirti BL. Thank you for watching today's session. This is part of Python for Generative AI learning series. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to my channel for more videos. Also feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. The link is in the description. See you in the next session.